Okay. Danielle is the vice president, and this is a client of. So again, this is a client for Michelle Davenport, vice president. Let me give you some background on Danielle before I go through her numbers. Number one, she's a healthcare professional, and in her current job, she's focused on process efficiency, process improvement. Right. So she's one of these people where very much an engineering type of brain, likes to be able to break things down to the simple areas, likes to add value. Process value is very important to her. So her parents, both professionals, a lawyer and a psychotherapist. I think her father's a lawyer, her mother's a psychotherapist. Grandparents, Russian Jews. Right. Why is that important? Well, because she mentioned it. You know, when people bring up something in their background, it's worth grabbing. Because what does it tell you? It tells me that she has a connection to her grandparents. It tells she has a connection to her family. Yiddish was probably spoken in. In fact, I asked her, was Yiddish spoken in home? She said, yes, as a matter of fact, it was. So it's knowing that environment. It's knowing what's important to the client. It's knowing how it may play out in some of these skills. So just being able to spend a few minutes, okay, what does that mean? And kind of circling it back at some point. Travel throughout North Africa and Southeast Asia. What does that tell me? It tells me that, yes, she has a lot of social exposure there. She's been exposed to a lot of different cultures, which gives a lot of, your perspective on things, a lot of different environments that she can connect with. This was interesting. So tell me about your work background. What do you know? Well, I was pre-med, switched to business, worked for a startup, and took undergraduate work, but was in health administration. Anything about that career path that you find interesting? Or anything so far that you find interesting
That explains low impulse control.
Was that the pre-med?
Yeah, because she keeps switching,
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't make that connection. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, matter of fact, yes, thank you. I didn't catch that before. Anything else that you get so far from the profile?
Um,
Let me give you a little bit more. All right. Other points, field hockey, enjoys tennis, running, yoga. All right. Also, a quotable quote: I have a drive to apply myself.
mm,
I mean, the
All right.
self-actualization, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Like, so this person's going to be a hyper achiever doer.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think the 3-year goal was?
To do more.
To that's and to do more of what he wasn't sure. Okay,
Right.
because what's
It's just about achieving and doing.
yeah. Because
I
what's
suffer from
fascinating.
it. I suffer from it, so I get it. It's horrible.
Okay, what are the roots of it? Where do you think it comes from?
I think like a really rough childhood and deprivation. And so I was going
Okay,
to achieve my way out of my childhood, which I did, but I just like an energizer bunny keep going, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I told you what the past 5 years of my life were like it would be exhausting for you. It's exhausting for me, but I keep doing
Okay. Yeah, but I appreciate that because there's something about our story that as we grow up, I think we're constantly reflecting back on that.
Yeah.
What are
I
things
think
that make sense? What are things that don't? Mary.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say is like another thing that's probably driving is that she's got or whoever that person is, they got high achieving parents, so that puts pressure. And then
Hmm.
also like another thing that I've
Mm.
noticed as an immigrant, and
Yep.
then it kind of doesn't matter, what country people immigrate from, but typically when you've come from immigrant family, there's like pressure to make sure that you don't
Yep.
screw up this opportunity.
Yep. Yep. That's a beautiful point. Mary, she went out of her way to be able to say, my parents never pressured me. So what? Yeah, my grandparents made it here to this country. They were happy to be here. But my parents never pushed me to be anything in particular.
Mm.
And as she was saying that, it was almost a sense of guilt coming through there
Yeah.
because what you said, as an immigrant, she's not going to really repay the debt or repay what she owes her
Mhm.
predecessors unless she
Right.
could accomplish the greatest thing imaginable for herself.
Mm.
What is it? She's not sure, but she's kind of, let's get on with it. Let's do it. How do I find it? How do I know when I'm there? So there's this fascinating drive inside of her to be fulfilled. but I'm not sure what it is. She's not sure what it is. But it was really fascinating the way she kind of positioned this. But to me, I was crediting her parents, because a lot of parents say, hey, we got you to this country. We gave you everything. How come you're not a doctor? How come you're not a lawyer? How come your cousin is an engineer and you're not? This is a green field for feeling a certain amount of guilt. But I got to credit her. Again, she would have picked up on it like this. But the potential was there, but she never fell into it. But for her, it's seeking that goal. Because I don't find many people that go from pre-med and switch to business and then back into healthcare again. There's this draw into the healthcare world that's kind of there. And on a scale of overall intelligence, I'd say she kind of hits the brilliant scale. Really, really smart. Okay, there's something about it that really you came across. Anything else? Anything else you pick up in the scores that you might be curious about, or might set up a question for you?
I mean, it's like the nice thing about it, it's fairly balanced. There's not a lot of imbalances in that,
Yep.
for an average score. Yeah.
Yep. You're absolutely right. So what I'm curious about when I see a balance like this, I'm always want to go deeper on the high and the low. There's the high, there's the low. Okay.
The impulse control, yeah.
Yeah. There's something about the high in assertiveness, low. Yeah, there's something about that assertiveness, because unlike a lot of, she was very present with me. She had a lot to say. She kind of reinforced things. Yeah, let me clarify that. Why is that connected there? There was something about that assertiveness where I'd asked her, did you ever think of becoming a lawyer? She goes, yeah, as a matter of fact, I did think of becoming a lawyer. In fact, I said, I took the LSATs. Really? Yeah, but I decided not to pursue it. Wow. Right? This person, he did triple threat. I could have done anything. It's just, so sometimes, again, that's where that guilt, if I'm brilliant, what should I put my focus on? So for her, it's the ability to help people, which is coming through. So let me go through any other comments before I take us through the form? Any other curiosities here? Number one was that,
John.
Yeah, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. I keep on dropping off for some reason, but I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you about this. So what was her goal when you spoke with her? Or was there something that she wanted to achieve?
Nothing specific other than trying to keep doing more of doing as much as she can in her field in healthcare, looking for more opportunities. In fact, that's why I want to talk to Michelle. The objective I wanted to leave her with was, listen, you got to write your own job description. There's something about what you're doing in this job that you're finding you're very fulfilling. I mean, I'm not doubting the sense of fulfillment. Let me get my pen here. She's definitely fulfilled. But what does the future hold? Well, she said, well, I could do this job, but I could do so much more. I could do other parts in the organization. I could do, okay, great. That's why I said, listen, the job that you want doesn't exist right now. Go build it. Go write it. Engage your organization. In fact, I don't know, some of the most exciting jobs I ever had, and people I've known didn't exist before they created them. And you can see, oh, wow, I never thought of that. Right. And there was a sense of excitement that was there because, first of all, this person likes to do things. So when you're talking about the future, it's what is it you're going to do it's going to fulfill whatever feeling you have up here. And that to me is the essence of the EQI report. Kind of is contained in those scores up here. So next one is inner voice. How would you describe her inner voice? Positive or negative? Anybody get a quick impression here? I describe them as kind of having a positive voice. They skew more to the positive. Okay, I know they're right there average in their optimism. Nothing there. But in terms of your overall innovation, yeah, this is pretty strong. When I see someone that has a strong self-regard, it means I'm going to find a high level of confidence there. I'm going to this person knows a lot. Again, going with that intelligence. They've been in a couple of different industries. They have a lot of different experience. They've traveled the world. There's a lot of confidence there. So yeah, positive or negative. This person tends to be positive. And in fact, that's the way I described it. I said, listen, you have a positive inner voice. This third area here, executive presence. Remember looking at her. I said, you show up very strong. You show up very confident. There was something about that presence there that was very, very strong. That's what I want to comment on. What's the energy that's coming through the screen? What's the energy that I'm picking up on? But I still ask my questions. No matter what level of emotional self-awareness is there, I still want to ask the person, Are you deep breathing, meditating, deep, yoga, tai chi? What is it that you do to increase your emotional self-awareness? And I'll send a copy of Search Inside Yourself, right? Because I want to encourage that area. Even though you have high emotional self-awareness, I want to keep it stronger. Then you have a little bit of that executive dip there, where he's got the high level of awareness and lower, a little bit of a poker player there. Not much, a little bit of a poker player, but mostly a sincere person. But he's a little bit of a hard read. I remember looking at him. I mean, she's a little bit of a hard read. I couldn't say all the time how she was feeling, but there was this sense of authenticity that was there, you know. Then we get into the other emotions. Where are they? We're going into empathy and assertiveness. Well, what I just remembered about his assertiveness level, we were about halfway through the profile. And he asked me something that not many clients have asked me for. And he said, she said, listen, she said, John, when you speak to other clients, would you have the same conversation as you're having with me? I said, excuse me? Said, would you say the same things to another client that you would to me? I said, no. I said, no, this is you. All right. And I said, I got 2,000 other reports out there. None of them look like this. Right, because so I have to listen to your story. I have to know where you want to be in the future. I have to look at these. I said, so it's very bad. But that's where the assertiveness came out. There was a certain amount. No one's ever asked me that. No one's ever asked me, is this real? Are you really talking to me? Or are you just repeating things? There was a little bit of an odd suspicion that kind of came out there, which was, hey, fine, I'll play. But yeah, it was interesting how that's where the assertiveness came out. They needed to know. But it was here I pointed out, listen, there's a little bit of an imbalance there. I said, so what you need to do is you need to up the empathy a bit. How I up the empathy? Well, let me take a further step back. Not only upping your empathy, I like to see you increase your emotional self-awareness. Because this is your executive presence. This is your brand. This is where I want you to start thinking about the future. I want you to start thinking about what is that goal out there that you're driving for? What is it that you want to be able to accomplish 3 years from now? And how are you going to move in that direction? So it's getting him to appreciate the balance, not only the need to increase his empathy, but you do that by increasing your emotional self-awareness. Being more present with people is what's going to do that, right? Let me get these out of here. Then in terms of interpersonal relationship skills, she was very, very personable, very easy to talk to, had a sense of humor, had a sense of teasing, which was really nice to see. So very, very relaxed around. I would kind of position her kind of close to a salesperson. That's how close she was. And is a good salesperson, right? High performance team versus individual. This is where some of the experience around being in playing sports when he was young, having a connection to the family. There was something about being able to really appreciate a high performance team that's very important to him. So the ability to help people was part of where he is, and this goes back to the whole dabbling with the medical community, being in healthcare right now. He appreciates or he measures himself on how well he's able to support other people. Let me see if there's anything else with that. No, that was well, independence. Yeah, he can make independent decisions, but yeah, he preferred working in a team environment. There was something about that team consensus that's very much a collaborator. His style, I should say. Process improvement or process overall. Yeah, that's what his job is all about. The ability to improve processes, the ability to reduce costs, increase quality, however you want to organize it as. But process. What's interesting is that when you look about his process methodologies are focused on helping people. He has a financial brain, a technical brain, but when he does his day-to-day work, it's focusing on people who again, could probably do better through the healthcare system. Then we have reality testing, again, going back to research, going back to his medical experiences. That's about asking questions. That's about having a high level of intellect. His impulse control, this was where you had to be present to see him. Because impulse control, I refer to impulse control as the learning line. This guy is a world-class learner. But the two learning lines in my mind are empathy and impulse control. So empathy was a high enough where he was really a terrific listener. But the affect, what I saw on the screen, he was constantly doing this.